Join me as I put together a 72-hour food emergency supply should we need it. So I'm here in my van and I've just finished putting together my 72 hours of food supply, and that is for a family of 3. That's 2 adults plus our toddler and also our cat. Now, just 2 months ago, the EU authorities have recommended that every household on the continent puts together at least a 72 hours supply of basic food and supplies. So we have taken that advice, put it into action, and today I'm going to show you what that looks like. That uncertainty could mean anything from a war to a natural disaster or just a simple power cut. Now, I have travelled extensively over the past 2 decades all around the world, and where I have come to live here in the Pyrenees Mountains truly feels like the safest place I have ever been. Now, I'm not your typical prepper by any means, but I have a responsibility these days. I've got a family, we've got a pet cat, we've got 2 vehicles to keep maintained. So this is how I have decided to take action and put things one step at a time in front of the other to be better prepared. However, in this video, I'm just going to stick to the food supply, and I'm going to show you how we have chosen to prepare our 72 hours of emergency food. If you haven't already seen my previous videos, then check out the links in the description below. I've got an introductory topic to prepping in there, and be sure to check those out after this video to learn how to get started on your own preparedness journey. For those of you who are new to my channel, my name is Alex. I am the founding editor of Advanture Magazine, which is a publication all about heading out into the outdoors, van life, surviving off-grid. Now, many of those skills and the tips and the tricks that we have to share cross over so well into the world of preparedness. And one of those key areas is food preparation and the supply that you'll need to keep yourself and the people around you fueled for whatever lays ahead. So I've put together this 3-day supply of food that covers basic nutrition for 3 people. We've got to feed our cat, of course, and everything is shelf stable. And by shelf stable, I mean nothing needs prior refrigeration. All the meals are super easy to prepare. At the most, you just need to boil some water for things like the pasta or mix ingredients together. And everything that I'm going to show you cost a grand total of €100, and I have so much left over because a lot of things come in bulk. So we could easily stretch to a 4th day should we have to. And there are a couple of prerequisites for this meal plan, which would be that you have an access to a clean supply of water, drinking water, and also something to cook on. And in my case, I've got a double gas burner over here in the kitchen in the van, and also an external gas camp cooker that I can take outside and cook elsewhere. As you can see, I'm in my camper van again for this video, and I've chosen to keep this emergency supply of food in the drawer underneath the bench seat in the rear of the vehicle. And there are a few key reasons that I thought this would be the best setup for us. Now, number 1 is that I thought it would be a lot better to have the emergency food in the van packed and ready to go. Now, it's a lot easier for us to move this stuff up into the house if we needed to have a food brought up there, rather than scramble around inside and try and bring things down to the vehicle should we have to leave in a hurry. Now, I don't think we'll ever be in a situation where we have to leave the van and get into the house in a hurry. So yeah, it makes sense to keep it all in here as a top priority. And number 2, this also covers us in the situation that if we're out on the road in our vehicle. Now, where we are, it's heating up very quickly here in Spain, and there are risks of wildfires. Actually, yesterday there was a huge landslide in the Alps that completely covered a town, but we do get landslides here in the Pyrenees as well that can cut off routes. So having that supply of food in the vehicle means that we don't have to worry about getting stuck somewhere with no supplies. So I mentioned like those natural disasters such as wildfires and landslides, but it could also be something as simple as a breakdown. We do go road tripping in this vehicle. Now, usually when we go on a road trip, we pack this thing up ready to go anyway, as you do with a camper van. But who knows, maybe we make a spur of the moment decision to go into Andorra, for example, and we have a breakdown there up in the mountains. And anyway, I think we are covered for everything that we would need for a couple of days. And where else nicer would there be to break down up in Andorra and Pyrenees? And I think it's all about assessing those local risks, which I had talked about in a previous video as well. And for us, being in this mountain environment, using the van a lot. It's yeah, the best place to keep our emergency supply of food and water. Now, number 3 is I'm going to keep a checklist of the food in the different supply boxes, which I'll show you in a moment, the expiration dates, and also because we do use this van when we're out and about, we could easily, if we need something, just pick from that box and simply just nip into a supermarket on the way home to restock that. Now, I think that probably is not going to be a popular practice for a lot of preppers out there, but that's probably going to work for us just because we are out and about all the time, and having this food, it's stuff that we all eat daily anyway, but having that checklist on board is just going to make keeping stock of everything very easy to know when things expire and also what needs replenishing quickly. So number 4, this is the start of our food preparation. Now, hopefully one day we've got a lot longer and we can sustain ourselves for a lot longer of a length of time. But this is the start. It's not something that I've had to do before, so it's about practice, figuring things out, looking at the expiration dates of food, planning meals for multiple people as well. Before, I've only had to worry about myself so much if I go backpacking or something. So yeah, it's about practice and making a start, and this was the best start that I could see for us. And now ultimately this is our bug out vehicle, and if you would like to learn more about what we have on board here, we've got loads of equipment to sustain us for long periods of time, which we have done before. And yeah, if you'd like me to go through the key features of this camper van, a lot of it is custom, then let me know in the comments below and I'll make a dedicated video about it. All right then, so here is the fun bit. I have got all the food located in this drawer underneath the bench, and the reason for that is that everything can be accessed from within the vehicle if we're wanting to keep as stealth as a profile as possible. I'm smiling because this van isn't really the stealthiest of vehicles. It does look like a camper van, especially when you've got a ski box on the top, a bike rack on the back, and an awning down the side. But anyway, the point is that we can access all this stuff from within the vehicle, rather than if it was stored in the box on the top and you had to go outside and open it up. So if I open up the drawer here, you can see everything neatly organized. Now, this is the drawer underneath the bench seat in the Volkswagen California, which does pull out and lay down into a double bed. The front seats can move forwards and also turn around, so you still do have access to all of this from within the vehicle. Actually, that reminds me, this piece here does lift up when someone's not sat on it, so you can access things without opening the drawer. I'll show that in one moment. Now, I started with a 72 hours worth of supplies. Sure, it's only 3 days, but as I said, it's a great start, I think, to get going. It's not an overwhelming amount of food, but it surprisingly does take up quite a bit of room. There are some things that we've kept in here that are going to last a lot longer than 3 days. Olive oil, can't leave home without that. We do live in the Mediterranean, so our diet does revolve around a lot of use of that. There's a few things in here like aluminum foil, plastic wrap, try keep some foods preserved just a little bit longer. I haven't quite figured out the milk, long life milk, but something like an almond milk here does last just over a year, so that's not bad. Maybe we'll just have to keep tabs on the amount of other normal milk that we use and just make sure that that's replaced as it becomes out of date. Got to have your just make sure they're not anchovy. I've done that before, don't like those. And what else have we got in here? So the 3 days worth of food that I've put together here is extremely budget friendly, and as I said, it comes to €100, and we've got loads left, so it would easily last a 4th day. Let's start unpacking some things. So we have got some water bottles. We have got, as I said, the aluminium foil, the plastic wrap. We've got the milk, the olive oil, And then tea. We are tea coffee drinkers. So we've got this little tub of tea here. Of course, being the camper van, we've got multiple cupboards and things. We've got our coffee pot here. Now I'm keeping a fresh pack of coffee in here that's unopened. So if we need to dive into this kit, we've got fresh coffee. We can open that up, dump that into the can, and that will stay fresh for the time that we need it. And what I've been doing is experimenting with this idea of storage. Now I've just kept it in some shoe boxes that I had spare for the moment, but I think I will go and find some Tupperware containers that are this size. Now I know what's going to fit in this drawer. This drawer is fantastic because it is metal lined. It does keep a little bit cooler than the rest of the van because of that. It's in the shade and it's well protected. But anyway, let's get some of these out and have a look. We've kept food in this sliding drawer before, but not organized. We just throw things in, and after a while, just food gets everywhere. It's an absolute mess. It's chaos. You don't really want to open the drawer. You know there's something in there to eat, but it's just a mess. So I've been experimenting with how to organize this. Right now, what I've decided to do is put things into some shoe boxes that I had spare, but I will go and find some Tupperware boxes, I think, to replace this with, to keep the food that little bit more protected. And then you have that Tupperware box should you need it as well for other storage. So yes, I've got it organized into 3 shoe boxes at the moment. So here's day 1. And what else do we have? Actually, we've got our absolute last resort water here, but more on that in a moment. In the cupboard over here, we're keeping a first aid box as well as the cat food. So that's all out the way up there. And also some luxuries in this container here. However, when I put all this together, I realized that this shape lid doesn't fit. So I'm actually going to move the luxuries out into this flat container here. And these are beautiful toolboxes from a Japanese manufacturer called Toyo, which I'm going to feature in the next issue of Advanture Magazine. And they're just really well built, sturdy containers to be able to put things in. I think that will make an excellent luxuries box. You can lock that as well, keep kids out. So if you want to skip ahead to see what's in these food boxes specifically, then I'll put the time code here, and there'll be a link in the description so you can fast forward to that. But I just wanted to go through the other bits of this setup before getting on to that. Now, first things first is water. Obviously, we've got our last resort water here. I want to keep this on board just because it's in here should we need it. Now, the summers get scorching hot here in Spain. Even though we're up high in the Pyrenees, it still gets mighty hot. And I thought having some water inside the van, easy to grab bottles to hand out if we see somebody that needs some, that was a good idea. But we also carry, or we have a few different solutions actually on board that we can carry. Firstly, I've been storing a big 8-litre bottle, bottled water in the back. But we do use water daily. When I pick my kid up from kindergarten or come home from a long run or a ski, we're constantly drinking from that source. Now, I was keeping a second 8-litre container, so we were never without one. But what we've moved on to using now is one of the Lifesaver jerry cans, which you can fill up with basically any water. You can source it from anywhere. Pump that through the filter that's in there, and it turns it into nearly 100% safe drinking water. It removes bacteria, heavy metals, viruses. So, hey, look, I trust that now with our family's health. So it's definitely worth looking into. But having multiple options when it comes to water, I think, is the key thing to live in, especially in the climate that we do live in. So we've got these small bottles down here. I'm still going to carry an 8-litre bottle of water in the back just as a backup, but also have that jerry can on board so that we can source water from basically anywhere. And water's heavy, so you do want to think about what vehicle you've got and how much water you do load up. So having something like the jerry can that you can basically keep it empty and fill it up when you need it, that's I think that's a great solution. Okay, the pet. Now, many people have got pets, and I don't think many people are talking about prepping for those. But we do. We've got a lovely little cat who's part of the family now. She's a rescue from a farm not too far away. And of course, if we have to bug out or get out of home or stay at home, we need to make sure she's covered as well. Now, I am not expert when it comes to pets. I've only ever had cats. I grew up with cats. I did have a coral reef fish tank when I was younger, but I tell you what, if you are without power for 3 days, you've got a bigger problem than what to feed Nemo at the end of the day. So anyway, look, I can just talk about our cat. What we have got is 2 cans of wet food and also just a big bag of the dry food that she eats. And that's actually enough for probably close to a month. Once she's consumed the wet food, 1 can would easily do 3 days for her just because she is young, and then the dry food will easily cover us for the rest of a month. So that's way over the top, but hey, that's what we've got it in. It's all sealed up in its original bags. It's long shelf life, so that's what works for us. If you do have other pets and can share a tip or 2 with other people, then please do put those in the comments below. It's all about building a community here and sharing that wealth of information with each other. And I would love to learn too, so please do share what you have to share about your pets and how you're prepared with them. Okay, what's next? Luxuries. Now this was a fun bit to put together and think about. For me, somewhere in here, I'm going to hide a nice bottle of whiskey, maybe just top up my hip flask and leave it in here. But that usually gets consumed on a day out fishing. But I have got one of these Toyo boxes full with our goodies. So let's have a look. What have we got? We got some snacks. We've got games and just a few things to help boost morale. Now, I don't know if Monopoly is going to quite do that, especially when I win in every game, and that just seems to annoy everybody else. Maybe we'll have to swap that out for a deck of cards. What have we got? We've got some granola bars, we've got some dark chocolate, we've got some different crackers for our toddler, trail nuts there, chocolate squishy bag just to keep the kid happy. But yeah, really the idea of that is just that everybody can put 1 or 2 things in there, just fill it up so that we can crack that open. Yeah, as a morale boost, pass a little bit of time. Yeah, have a bit of fun like that. So yeah, keeping all that in this, well, I packed it all into this one, but I will transfer it all into the square lid just because it fits better into the space that we've got available. But yeah, luxuries box. Okay, here's the important bit then. So we needed to put together 72 hours of food, food that we're actually going to want to eat. Now 3 days isn't a long period of time, so I think the criteria is just a little bit different to building up a reserve for say a month, 6 months or a year. So there are a few little luxuries in here. So yeah, it's actually got to be food that we're going to all eat, and that includes my toddler. It's also got to be food that we're going to get some benefits, some nutrients, some goodness from. And also that it's shelf stable. Now I've said that we do have a refrigerator in the van, but it's not something that we want to have to rely upon. So all this food is shelf stable, it's all stored under the bench, ready to open, ready to eat. And lastly, ease of preparation. Now all this food needs to be moderately quick to get onto the table, require minimum preparation. Who knows what's going on? Who knows what mood we're all in? So it's about getting something warm, ready, together quickly so that we can all eat and be fulfilled. Now, when we are out in the camper van on leisure trips, I absolutely love cooking. So I'm quite in tune with what we can do in such a small space. And you'll be relatively surprised actually that with just 1 hob cooker, the right ingredients, a couple of utensils, you can bring together something that's really tasty and more importantly, familiar. Something that you're probably eating very close to at home. So it's a great option to keep everybody comfortable when the situation might not be And so to wrap up, again, I'm not going to be entertaining anything like MREs or like those mountain warehouse packs of food. This is all food that we are familiar with on a daily basis. It's all been drawn out of our diet. We're on largely a Mediterranean diet, and it's all food that I believe is probably the best 3-day supply of food that we could be putting together on our budget for our family, and keep it compact into this small space in the drawer. Okay, so finally the food. I'm going to move the camera to get a better shot of this, but let's go through each of the days and I'll show you what I've got planned for everybody. So day one, let's have a look to see what we've got. Got oats, and that can be made up with water or the milk, the long life milk here. And to mix that with some mixed nuts, some raisins, and also a little bit of peanut butter. Really nice breakfast, loads of energy in there, keep everybody happy. And of course, we've got the coffee. Got to have the coffee in the morning. Best thing about being in the van, isn't it? For lunch, we have got a rice bowl. So here's our integral whole grain rice. And that is going to be mixed with canned corn and canned chicken. And in the evening, we've got some really easy ramen noodles to mix that up with some vegetables and also probably a bit of that peanut butter there. We can then take a few snacks and things out of our luxury box, and that should get us through day one quite happily. We've also got the big jar of olives to be able to snack on. Now, I think olives are probably the best part of a Mediterranean diet. Super cheap, easy to store, last forever. They're packed full of good fats, loads of energy, and we all eat them. So I don't think any bug out situation will be complete without a big old jar of olives. Day two, let's have a look, see what we've got in the box. Look, as you can see here, my cat has already chewed through the box, so that's a good idea to go out and get some Tupperware boxes to stop the cat or other animals getting in. We do live in a rural area, so if we are bugging out in our camper van, then we could be somewhere close to a field or a farm where little mice or other animals can get in. We don't want them getting into our food supply, so I think Tupperware is the way forward. For breakfast, obviously, we've got coffee for the adults. We've got instant oats again for the morning. So I've actually packed 2 loads of instant oats, so we're probably going to have some left from day one, but there's more there for day 2. Better to have a few more than not enough. We've got dried banana to go on top of those oats. We can put some peanut butter in there from the day before as well. Then for lunch, we have got mashed potato, and that is going to go with Heinz baked beans. I'm British, so of course we got to have the Heinz baked beans in the emergency food supply. Staple diet, these. Mix them with some curry powder, delicious, or some cheese, even better. Of course we don't have cheese in this, but anyway, beans, really versatile, packed full of fiber, protein. That will be mixed with the mashed potatoes for lunch, and we've also got some vegetables to add in on the side to balance that out. We have got for dinner, let's have a look, got my packing slip here, and then for dinner we've got whole grain pasta, and that is to be mixed with this canned salmon. I've had this one, the one in the lemon, and it is absolutely lovely, but there's also an olive oil version there. So yeah, dinner would be your pasta, your salmon, and also we've got some canned black olives to go in there. Also very nice. And then snacks throughout the day, we've got granola bars, we've got some more biscuits, there's some dark chocolate up in there as well. So we've got a little morale boost for Mama and Papa here, a couple of beers, and then we've got various snacks that we can dip in and out of that luxuries box again. And that brings us easily into day 3. So by this point, we've probably got quite a bit of food opened already that probably hasn't been consumed. We don't actually eat this much at home normally, but yeah, better to be safe having more than not enough. Here's day 3. What have we got for breakfast? Again, we've got oats with whatever's left out of those 2 whole packets. Mix that with cinnamon. We've got some more nuts in here. We've also got some dried papaya. Now this looks really nice. I've never had that before. I might have to try it. But yeah, oats again for day 3 along with your coffee. And then for lunch, we would either see if we've got some of that pasta left from yesterday because it's quite a large bag. If not, then we've got some whole grain spaghetti to make up a nice tomato sauce with, again, we got the olives in a can and also tuna. Now I did try to look for some canned beef, some corned beef here in Spain, but it was really expensive. I saw on the packet there that it's manufactured and packed up in France. So I do live on the border here. I'm going to nip over to there when I've got a minute and have a look, see if I can't find a more reasonable price can. And then at least we would have the choice between, you know, that salmon, that canned tuna, and then some corned beef for one of the days. And then if we're still hungry in the evening, then we've just got some real simple cans of lentil soup and vegetables. And these have a really good Nutri-Score of B. We all eat these when we go camping anyway, so that's just really easy, quick food to be able to heat up and get on the table that night. And then of course we do have a few other snacks and things. We've got a little packet of biscuits there, and also these squishy bags here for my daughter. And whatever's left out of the luxuries box, of course. I've also got some baby wipes just stashed in here. You can never have too many of these. We've got kind of a couple of packets dotted around the van. But anyway, that's everything, I think, for the last day. And then hopefully we can go back home. Right, so there we are. That is the food supply that I've put together. I'm really happy with the overall price and how everything come together. The meals do sound quite delicious. So should the going get tough, I think we're going to be absolutely fine with regards to food and water. Now that is just the starting point for me. I will go through the rest of this van to pull out everything that's not needed, fix the bits that are broken. There's a few things in the sink, like the tap that needs fixing. I've got some engine work to do to make sure that this vehicle is 100% reliable moving forwards. I will go through the cupboards back here just to make sure that there's nothing that we don't need and that we've got access room for things that we would want to bring in. I'm going to go through the kitchen cupboards also, make sure that we've still got basically everything we need: cups, plates, cutlery, things like that, but not too much either. I think less is more, especially when you're in such a small space like this. So I just think it's time to go through and just resort everything out, get the van prepared. So if you are new to the concept of prepping like I am, I would say the very best thing you could do is go on to my introductory video and read all the comments that have been left in there. There are now hundreds, and the wealth of information and the comforting support from each other is truly remarkable. There has been so much great information from people new to prepping, but also people that have been prepping for a very long time. They have got a lot of great information being shared in there. So thank you for sharing that. I'm drawing a lot from that as inspiration, and I think everybody should go through, check out those comments, and hopefully you'll learn a new thing or two. So thank you everybody for continuing the conversation there. If you do like these videos, please like and subscribe. I'm having really good fun making them, and there are lots more on the way.